Live, everybody, we are back, and this is related to a big news that surfaced that broke out this morning, around this morning, and it was David Ornstein from The Athletic who was the first to report it, that Mohamed Salah is set to stay at Liverpool. He's set to stay for at least one more season, and some of you may have seen the shorts that I've made today. Different opinion pieces I put out, but what's for sure is I do think that also means he's going to sign a new contract, at least one more year of extension, because I just don't see him leaving on a free. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this major news, because it looked like, it looked more and more likely like he was going to leave, at the end of the season. And now I think it's clearly looking like he's going to stay, which I think is fantastic news, especially given that we're going to be going through a major transformation in the summer in Jurgen leaving, who's been there for so long, that I think those key leaders, those stars that we have in the team, like Virgil, like Salah, like Alisson, like Trent, who have been there for a long time, I think it's vital that we keep them. And I say that because they'll know about the mentality of what it took Liverpool to win all these years, to win the whole lot. And with the new manager Arne Slot coming in, having those leaders help with that transition to make it smoother, I think will be really important. And that's why I think it's absolutely fantastic news. I see a lot of people weren't happy. That's why I felt like we needed to address it, you guys. I see that Tomislav is in the building. Happy Dude 58. Go 12, guys. First of all, how are you all doing today? How was your day? I know it's Monday, start of the week, which doesn't feel like the best for everybody, but I personally like Mondays and I like mornings because it's always the start of a new week or the start of a new day. And I do think today we were blessed with good news. We were blessed with good news. And Luke Edit says, I knew he wasn't leaving. Yo, Joseph is in the building too. Nice to see you, brother. Guys, yeah, I felt like I needed to address it as well because there's just there are a lot of people who didn't seem happy about this news, and I can't understand that. I want to see what the energy is in the building today, and that's something I feel strongly about. I feel strongly about the fact that him staying and the fact that Michael Edwards believes in him staying at the club tells you everything you need to know, in my opinion. Yo, 100% football is in the building. Emilia says, loving the news of Salah staying, but he needs to work harder. His work rate is just not there for the past few seasons. I don't know about that. Liverpool fan, hey, what's going on? Neyman says, do you think Salah will perform well next season? Yes, I do. I think a lot of people don't understand that he went through a major hardship in being knocked out of AFCON with Egypt. The injury that he picked up, he doesn't look fully fit. I think with this summer, with the Euros going on, he's going to get so much time to rest, to rehabilitate, and be ready for next season. And I think we're going to see the best of Mo Salah again next season. I really do think so. This is not him being himself right now. And I know what Salah being himself is like, and he's unbelievable. You know what I mean? So I don't doubt that he's going to put up the kind of numbers that he usually does next season. It'll just be interesting how his role changes, given that Arne Slot is coming, as our new manager, and we're not going to play in the same style. We're likely not even going to set up in a 4-3-3. We're likely to set up in a 4-2-3-1, which would change his role, which I think will be interesting to see. Yo, LFC 10 is in the building. Tomislav says, today's a fantastic day for me as my dad's friend from Germany came to Bosnia and he's a fellow Liverpool fan, so I got a scarf and more LFC themed items and I'm very happy. Let's go. I love that. Let's go. LFC 10, I saw that. I need to look more into detail though. I need to look more. Go 12, thank you for that. And thank you, Mohid, for your kind message. Jonathan Alanis says, I don't think it's a good idea to extend a declining player. Far too much money for his current output. Jonathan, trust me, Michael Edwards is not about sentimentality. He is going to be ruthless behind the scenes. One of the reasons why I think he left is because Klopp had loyalty to certain players, which I can understand. But Michael Edwards is ruthless. Trust me. If he's deciding that Salah should stay and potentially sign a new contract, that means that he backs that he's going to keep putting up the kind of numbers that he does because, he takes perfect care of his body. We know what his mentality is like. I'm backing him as well. I'm backing him as well because, like I said, these past few months, I'm not going to judge him off that. After what happened during AFCON, after the injury, all of that, I am not going to judge him off of 2, 3, 4 months. That's just not fair for the output he's been putting up consistently every year. And I also disagree that he's been declining the last 2, 3 seasons like some people seem to say. I actually think he's become more complete in many ways in the amount of assists he puts up and his creativity. So I really disagree with that. CSLN, nice to see you. I'm not sure yet if I am going to be streaming tomorrow. Not sure yet. I'm a pen merchant, says Leo. Would you not rather sell Salah to get 100 million from Saudi and reinvest it for other future transfers instead of letting him go on a free? That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think we're going to be letting go on a free because the way that Michael Edwards runs a tight ship like we've seen over the years, the only way I see Salah staying is if he signs one more year extension so that we could, if he wants to leave or there's a big bid coming from Saudi, that we could let him go the summer after. You understand? But I'm so confident that he's going to sign a new contract, at least a 1-year extension, and that would keep him till the summer of 2026. That's my personal opinion, and I feel quite strongly about it. And do I think that it would be smarter to get 100 million now? I think it'd be smarter to get it the summer after. If he has a very good season, which everyone seems to be backing him to be able to do, then he'll still be worth a lot of money. And during this transition period with Arne Slot at the helm, and during this new era, I think it is very good to have Salah around the dressing room, to have him, with the experience that he has, with his mentality, with his work rate, all of that. It's just going to be really beneficial, So I think it's definitely the right decision, Thank you, Kim, for the kind message who says Mohamed Salah is the GOAT. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Wait, is the Bayern and Madrid game tomorrow? I gotta check that. Hold on. Damn, yeah, tomorrow night, guys. Potentially, we'll be doing a watch along because that's a big, big game. Let me know if you're gonna be reading that one. I mean, watching that one. Yeah, 100% football. I'm not until it's like much more reliable sources. I'm not gonna pay attention to that. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to show you guys this stat actually because everyone's like, "Oh, he's declining like crazy." I want to show you the pre-injured Salah, and then he hasn't had the time to get back to, like I said, his best self. Have a look at these stats, you guys. Let me know if you're able to see it clearly. This is before he went off to AFCON, okay, you guys? This is before he went off to AFCON. I counted, there's 20 Premier League games in here. 20 Premier League games, okay? In those 20 Premier League games, there's only 5 of those 20 Premier League games where he didn't get a goal or assist. That's incredible levels of consistency. And this is not 2, 3 seasons ago. This is this season. But because he hasn't been performing at that level in the past 3, 4 months, people seem to forget that he did this season. Like getting 2 assists away at Wolves. Like getting 2 goals at home against Everton. I was at that game. He was so clinical. Like getting 2 goals against Brighton. 2 goals against Brentford, 2 goals and an assist against Newcastle. Like, there's just like, have a look at that. That was before he went off to AFCON and picked up that injury. Those are the consistent levels I'm talking about. Yo, CJDA, what's good? Nice to see you in the building. How are you feeling about the news? He is 100% football. He's our most consistent from the Premier League era, alongside Stevie G. Shoot the Scouser. What's your examen? What's your examen? Michael, I'm not proud of what Salah, or we don't know exactly what happened. And you guys saw my post-match reaction. I wasn't happy with Salah and what happened with Klopp, but that's one incident. Like, there were different incidents that happened over the years, and I think that's just like he has a crazy mentality to always want to start, to always want to score, and things got out of hand, and I'm sure he apologized to Klopp, and I'm sure that he realizes now that it was out of hand because there were so many cameras and it was going to be in the media for days and days after. But let me tell you that that's just part of football, you know what I mean? And has he been committed? Listen, you talk about being committed and showing loyalty to Liverpool Football Club. He's done that all these years. This goes back to like the way he's been playing the last 3-4 months. Are we going to judge a player off of that after the all of these seasons where he's like broke history and become arguably our top 5 player of all time, top 2-3 players in the Premier League era? Are we going to judge him off of just that little tiny span of time? No. And the incident that happened this weekend, are we going to judge him off of that one incident? No. Was it a mistake? Was it not good timing? Yes, all of that. Like, he probably regrets it and he shouldn't have done it. But can we question his loyalty? Can we question how committed he is? No, we can't, because he's shown that year after year. You know what I mean? And that's the respect we have to show him. That's the respect we have to show him. But still, I definitely agree that he still needs to understand that if he's not performing, like for example, if Klopp decides not to start him this weekend against Spurs, then he needs to accept that, because the reality is he hasn't been good enough. And I agree with that. He hasn't been good enough. But do I back him to get back to his levels? Yes, I do. And that's why I think this contract news is fantastic for us and our future. It's crazy to me, JSM44, how much everyone seems to have turned on him. Crazy to me. So freaking crazy. Hey Leo, glad to see Salah stay. Says Caden, the exam takes me to the next class. If I fall, I repeat the class. Oh gosh, good luck, bro. My God. Feeling good. Any news on Trent and Virgil? No news on them. No news on them, though. I know. Salah is levels clear in terms of the consistency he's shown go 12. Michael says, like Suarez says, English football fans have short memory. But boy, is a short memory. This is like a few months we're talking about. How can you... It's insane. Al Gunners, who's an Arsenal fan, even says he needs some respect. People need to put some respect on his name. Exactly. Haven't Jota Clue says, hi Leo, Salah has that mentality. Do I have no doubt he'll come back strong? That's what I mean. He's shown us time and time again about his mentality. And that's why I'm sure Michael Edwards also wants him, like I said, to be around, the transformation, the transition that we're going to have this summer into a new era. I think Michael Edwards understands just how important it's going to be to have someone of Salah's mentality, Oh, bro, damn foot. Imagine Mbappe, the best player in the world. That would be my dream, but unfortunately, it looks like he's off to Real Madrid. That would be my dream, though. ASK, you're saying that, but everything is a risk. Then you could say every single new signing. You could say if there's a bid that comes in for Gravenberch this summer, you could say, oh, we haven't seen him be that good. Let's accept it, because if we don't, we could see him just fall off and not be good. You know what I mean? So that's just a risk you have to take. And boy, am I willing to take a risk with someone of Salah's mentality. That's for sure. No, Joseph, that's absolutely fake news that Virgil's going to Dortmund. Don't you worry about that. There's no chance he would go there, of all teams. Yeah, I do realize that this is the last year of the normal UCL format. Honestly, the new one, from what I've seen, and I could make a video to explain it in more detail because it is quite complex. From what it looks like, actually, I quite like the new format. I wasn't so sure at first, but Yeah, Livramento from Newcastle, right? Goat 12. Yo, Dylan LFC Goats, what's good? How are you feeling? Will Thiago stay? That's very unlikely. I think the two that will like 99% chance leave this summer is Thiago because of his injury record and the fact that he's on 200K per week. And then the other news is Joel Matip as well. I think he will leave at the end of his contract. Omar says Salah is my favorite of all time, but the best is Ronaldo. Do you agree? No, for me the best is Messi. But they're two goats of the game, no doubt about it. And I'm just so thankful that we got to, at least I grew up watching both of them and I appreciated both of them. But I do think in the end, we have to say that Messi is the GOAT. CSLN, yes, I do. I do it nearly as a full time job now, because I run Liverpool goals as well. Um, or we run as a team. Let me see. Look, this is a post I wanted to share with you guys too that I'm actually making into a short that you guys will see very soon. It's this tweet from Jamie Carragher that he put out, and I completely agree with it. Completely agree with it, where he goes on and says that Mo Salah and Jurgen Klopp are both Liverpool legends. We don't need to take sides. Salah is frustrated and angry with Jurgen that he's not playing, and at the moment didn't want to fully embrace the boss. Jurgen understandably took exception. Mo was daft with his comment in the mixed zone, but let's let them sort it out and enjoy the last few weeks together. They've been a massive help to each other in all that's been achieved at the club. Facts. Facts. And I want to show you a beautiful picture too. This one. This one. Oops, that's too big. Look at that picture of them embracing after winning the Champions League. They've achieved so much together. Nunes or Suarez, you can't compare Nunes to Suarez. Suarez is the prime of Suarez is the best player I've ever seen at Liverpool Football Club. In that 2013-14 season, I will stick by it, even though during the Jurgen Klopp era, that's when we won all of our trophies and everything. The best prime I've ever seen. And I think the only time I've watched a Liverpool player and I've just been like, what the... As in, like, on so many occasions, I was like, that's not real. Kind of like watching Messi at times. Like, Suarez was just doing things that were not normal whatsoever. And now that, yeah, crazy. Yeah, Scouse Chris. I agree, but at the same time, it's like part of life aging, you know what I mean? And what's beautiful for Jurgen is he's someone that's aged and impacted a lot of lives, you know what I mean? You think just about the city of Liverpool, just how much joy and inspiration he's brought to fans around the world. I think he's truly lived a life, um, of giving back in many ways. So, once he takes a step back and he gets to reflect back on moments like that picture, after winning the Champions League, like he's gonna, I think, hopefully reflect on just how amazing the things he did were and achieved, because I don't think he has the time right now to reflect. Like the job is so demanding that he hasn't had the time to do that. But I think he will now, so exactly. Gabriel says, "You'll never walk alone." That's our motto and we should show it. And I feel like not enough people are showing it today after this Salah news dropped. It's really not okay. N28, thank you for the super chat, who says Salah is very hard to bench even when he's not playing well and it can be difficult for a manager. I think that is a big issue. Your thoughts? N28, I think we haven't seen enough of that just yet. I agree what he did this weekend was not acceptable at all. And like I said before, with the way he's playing right now, I'm not even sure I would start him this weekend against Spurs. And I think, if he hears from the boss that he's not starting against Spurs, then he needs to accept that, because the manager has to be the most powerful person in terms of picking team news because then everything falls apart. You know what I mean? You just have to have respect for the boss, for the leader. And I agree that, if that's actually how he feels, then it's absolutely not okay. But I'm sure that it's been made clear to him that he needs to accept when he's on the bench. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't been good enough recently, and that's just the reality. But I do think he will start against Spurs just because he is a big game player, and he's gonna want to shut up a lot of doubters this weekend. So I definitely think he's gonna start this weekend, no doubt about it. But I agree. But again, I don't think we've seen enough of that, and I think he's smart enough to know that it's up to him whether he starts or not. And he has to respect the entire team. He has to respect the manager, the football club. And I think he's smart enough to have that. I think just emotions got in the way this weekend. And yeah, exactly. LFC 10. What the things he was doing at Barca too. It's just I watched Barca less in that era. But the numbers he was putting up for Barca with that front three of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez was unbelievable. Like crazy. Yes, I have heard that Thiago Silva will leave Chelsea. He's been a legend of the game. At PSG, I remember watching him. He was unbelievable. And for Chelsea, he's also been spectacular. When you consider the age he arrived at, he was quite old. And I do think he's been very good for them. He's definitely one of the best center backs I've ever watched. And his mentality, wow. Wow. What a player. A legend of the game. Jonathan, honestly, I haven't watched Santiago Jimenez enough, but I've heard really good things. But I do think that, yeah, we would have to sell one of our front five. You know what I mean? Because having five attackers is already a lot. So if we were to bring another one in, we'll have to let one go. Earthball, what position do I think we need strengthening the most? I think a center back, a left footed center back, and then a midfielder, probably a holding midfielder, because especially if Slot is going to play in a 4-2-3-1. And then, if we do play in a 4-2-3-1, I think Fabio Carvalho, that's someone I'm really excited about coming back from his loan spell. I'm excited to see if Slot is going to give a proper chance to Fabio Carvalho because it never felt like Klopp did. And so the new manager, what's giving me some hope is like what Fabio Carvalho can do because I think he's really, really talented and he's doing well for Hull. So, wherever he's been played, whether it be a Fulham and now a Hull, it's clear to see that this kid has a lot of talent. You know what I mean? Scouts Chris says if you had to let one player go out of Gakpo, Diaz, and Nunes, who would you get rid of? It all depends on what the interest from the market would be. You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's the thing. It's a really tough one to say. Well, LFC 10 says, who would you sell this summer? I think the ones that are pretty clearly going to leave are Thiago, Matip, and Adrian. So that's already three like senior players that are leaving this summer. And then who else do I see leaving? That's a hard one. But those are already three players that take up a lot of wages. You know what I mean? So it will open up space for us. And then I think, for example, Nat Phillips has been linked with a move to Leeds, who are likely going to come back up to the Premier League. So I think Nathaniel Naldini will leave this summer. And we'll have to see. Yes, Fludge, I would love to do watch alongs for this summer. The only thing is I'm going to be traveling a bit. So I hope I'm going to have connection and it's going to be a different setup to this. So I have to see how possible it is. You know what I mean? But I would love to for sure. Who would you sign out of these four? Ross Barkley, Eze, Olise, and Ivan Tony. That's tough. That's tough. I love Olise, but I think he's too injury prone. So the out of those four, the two I'm struggling to choose the most from are Eze, who is young and so talented, or Ivan Toney, but I think I would probably go for Ivan Toney just because he is such an incredible goal scorer. And I actually love his style of play. He's a boyhood Red, he's a Liverpool fan. And I think he's one of those that can guarantee you a lot of goals. So I think I would go for Ivan Toney because I rate him really highly. Yeah, I would go for Ivan Toney too. I think he's pretty incredible. The things he's done for Brentford all these years is is something special. To be scoring that many goals for that team is really hard in the Premier League. Swedish LFC supporter says, yesterday my team had a game away. The game ended 1-1. I'm a defender, but I played midfielder, but more defensive, while my midfield duo played more offensive. I had a good game out of position. Good job. No, and it's good to play in different positions too, because you always learn from switching different positions. That's something that I remember I learned a lot from when I was younger, playing at a club level. LFC 10, his past with betting and stuff, like he'll have learned his lesson. I'm sure he'll have learned his lesson. Trust. I wouldn't be worried about that just because, you know, he realized now that how big of a mistake it was, and I just don't see him repeating that when his career's on the line. You know what I mean? Because you only get one short career, and I'm sure now he's surrounded by people where they make sure that something like that doesn't happen again. All right, predictions for Bayern against Madrid. So the first leg is gonna be. I do think Real Madrid's gonna get to the final, but I think Bayern could beat them at home. Bayern in the Champions League at home are a special team, so I think tomorrow I could see Bayern winning or a draw, one of the two. And then on Wednesday, Dortmund is playing at home, so it's gonna be tough for PSG. But I do back PSG to go through as well because of Kylian Mbappe. Literally, imagine even at home if PSG sit back a little bit and they counter with Kylian Mbappe. Like, how can you stop that? And when on the biggest stage, he's always stepping up. Kylian Mbappe. You see what he does for France. You see him at the Champions League level. I think he just rises to the occasion, and that's why I think he's the best player in the world. So I do see PSG going through, and like I said, I think Real Madrid will also go through. I think it's going to be a PSG Real Madrid final. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Who says Salah's underrated, always gets hated. Stupid. I completely agree. It really hurt me to see online the amount of negativity there was around Salah, the news of Salah staying. I was shocked by it. Absolutely shocked by it. When will Tonali be back? I think it was a 1 year ban, right? So next season he should be back. Oh, Hamad. I would love that. I would love that. Start bench Shell Bellingham, Rice, Musiala. I would start Jude Bellingham, bench Musiala, and sell Rice. But that's a hard one. Yes, of course I've heard of Sorloth. I don't know if that's how you say it, but the striker, right? He's physical from what I remember, from what I've seen of him. Hey Ali Nos, how's it going? Leo, is Jota fit? There's a good chance he could be fit this weekend. Remember, Klopp had said that it was 2 weeks that he'd be out, and the exact timeline of 2 weeks would mean that he'd be back for Spurs. But we'll have to see whether he's back in full training ahead of that game. Then we'll know that he could be back in the squad. But I definitely don't see him starting. I think the best chance we have is him being back on the bench. But even him back on the bench would be a huge boost because we know how good he's been for us this season when he's been fit. Mane was outstanding, not Gabriel. I loved Sadio Mane so much. He was so underrated during his time at Liverpool, no doubt. But out of the front five, who would you let go and why? Oh, that's hard. It's too early to say. Honestly, I don't know enough. If you had told me that Klopp would have stayed, I think I would have said Darwin Núñez just because I think we could have gone good money for him, and I don't think that he fits Klopp's style of play, playing down the middle. I think the only way he would have fit us was left wing, and at left wing we have to be starting Luis Diaz. So I don't think he fits Klopp's style, and I think it's pretty clear to see that. But if given that Arne Slot is coming in and we're gonna play a different system, we're gonna play. It's just gonna be very different. It's too early to tell which one because maybe Darwin Núñez could fit him perfectly, and maybe he's gonna shine now. So It's like I said, it's too early to say. We have to see what's going to happen and how we set up under Slot and everything, because maybe he's going to change his style of two, given that he's coming into the Premier League and how difficult it is in the Premier League. So he's going to have to make some adjustments too. So, like I said, it's very, very hard to know already. Salah edits. See ya. Yeah, I would. Footy edits. That Everton center back is very good. Are you watching Madrid Bayern live? Guys, let me know if you would tune in for a watch along. I'm going to do actually a poll because I wasn't necessarily thinking that we do one, but I'm seeing quite a few comments of you guys asking for that. So hold on. Haha. Hey, I'm not sure actually for goal of the month. It's hard to. I'd have to have them all popped open, to be honest. I'd have to have them all popped open. Okay, guys, I'm going to run a poll because I'm curious to see what you guys say here. Would you? It's tomorrow night, yeah. At 8 p.m. UK time. Eight p.m. UK time, go 12. Yeah, Mark, we'll just have to see Slot and he's gonna reassess the whole squad, and it'll be interesting who he backs to succeed under his style, under his philosophy, and who he doesn't. You know what I mean? This summer is gonna be a crazy time for us Liverpool fans because we've had such a consistent ship all these years under Klopp, and there's gonna be a lot of changes this summer. So there's a part of it obviously that's scary, but there's a part of it that's exciting too. CSLN Agard that plays for West Ham. I'm not convinced that he's Liverpool quality, to be honest. I'm not so convinced, and I don't think he's that young, is he? Let me check how old he is. He's 28 years old. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's young. He's right at his prime. You know what I mean? All right, you guys. I'm gonna post a quick short on what I was telling you guys with what Kara was saying, which is something I completely agree with. That we have to back Salah, we have to back Klopp, we have to spread that positivity. We have to, you guys. Programming Pranit, that's so hard to say. Bigger PL legend, Salah or Aguero. That's so hard. We should break the market. Yeah, go 12. I do think Rodrigo would. I would like to see Rodrigo at Liverpool, but again, it all depends on what forwards stay, what forwards leave. You know what I mean? And that's all dependent on who's gonna fit Slot style, which we can't really know exactly. It's hard to tell because I think he will make some adjustments given that he's at Liverpool now. And the Premier League isn't at all like. Yeah, guys, we can have a look at that together because that's really big news. Hold on. I see a decent amount of you guys asking about the new cap. And I'm going to pull this up because it's news that I see a few of you guys have mentioned. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. We can go through it together. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Here it is. Guys, let me know if you're able to read that. I think that's what you guys were mentioning, right? About the spending cap. Um, is this what you were mentioning? Which has exciting news in the world of Premier League finances. This move aims to anchor club spendings to approximately 5 times the TV revenue of the bottom place club. While the majority of clubs support this decision, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Aston Villa voted against it, while Chelsea chose to abstain. This change is set to be ratified during the upcoming summer period. And as my bro Steven was mentioning, this is quite a big amount of money though, because Norwich earned 93 million when they finished last. So what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think? I know Toby says Man City voting against a spending cap. You would have never guessed. You would have never guessed that. Exactly. Not a good look for them. Yes, Megdez. Oh, AK007. Of course. But it's going to be a shorter stream today because I really wanted to hear more so your thoughts on the Salah news and and also this like spending cap, this kind of spending cap that it will be. But let me ask Steven actually what the max is. Yeah, go 12. I heard the news that Thiago Silva, the absolute legend. I think he's one of the best center backs I saw in my generation and one of the most consistent center backs. I mean, the things he's doing at his age is like completely out of this world. And he's a legend of the game. He'll forever go down as a legend of the game. I wonder where he's going to be off to now because he still has the ability. You know what I mean? Now that the heat of them. Oh, Kevin McGee's in the building. Nice to see you. I think Salah's staying is positive. Virgil's contract expires in 2025 too, and Trent. Should he resign in your opinion? Yeah, both Trent and Virgil need to resign. These are players that are still at their peak, you know what I mean? And I think we need to keep them, especially like I said with Salah. The reason why I think it's also such good news is, with the major transition we're having in this new era with Arne Slot taking over. I think having those leaders, those players with the all of the experience during those Klopp years, it'll be really important to have them around. You know what I mean? Yo, Will, I'm going to message you after the live because I got an update for you. Happy Monday to you too. Thoughts on Curtis Jones right now? I think his form has dropped a lot too. Yeah, no, I agree. But with the amount of midfield options we have, I think it's awesome because, if someone isn't performing, then, and it goes back. It's the same with Salah. Like I told you guys, I'm really happy that he's signing the new contract. But no matter who you are at this football club, there should be squad depth in every single position because we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. And when you're not performing, no matter what you've achieved in the past, you can get dropped. And Curtis Jones, I think before that injury, was our most consistent midfielder this season. He's been unbelievable this season, but he hasn't been doing so well recently. And, if he doesn't perform, drop. Gravenberch and Harvey, I think in the team have been absolutely fantastic. They deserve to keep their spot, and against Fulham in that game that we won, I thought they both did really well. So I don't think they should have been dropped for the Merseyside derby. You know what I mean? And then they came back into the team against West Ham, and I thought they both did well, So I think the ideal thing for a club like Liverpool, like I said, is depending on how you perform, you're in and out of the team. And it doesn't matter what you've achieved, whether you're Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, or Salah, you have to perform. And that has to be the Liverpool way, Oh, LFC says, hi Leo, I've been subscribed for a long time, but I never seem to catch your streams. I think Salah staying will help us. Well, welcome in the building, LFC. And I think Salah staying will help us, yeah. Yeah, me too, Will. I'm feeling positive because I think a change in some ways. I think the one thing we could look positively about this run that's going on right now is that it just looks like we need a change, you know what I mean? And Jurgen stepping down seems to be at the moment where it's needed, you know what I mean? And that's why tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be preparing a video for you guys, which is just like the philosophy I think we should have till the rest of the season to not get so frustrated about the results that we had in April, which were a disaster. Let's be honest. I'm not deluded. But given that our season is pretty much over now, like we'll finish third, I think we should just cherish every single game, cherish Klopp, cherish the memories, celebrate, and just have good vibes around the building because now there's nothing more we can do. You know what I mean? Like we did let ourselves down. There's no doubt about that. But now it's over. Now it's in the past. So now we have literally 1 month left with Klopp. Let's show him all the love because these last 9 seasons, if you weren't supporting Liverpool before the Klopp era, you would know that even a season like this, as disappointing as it's been, has still been a good season, at least for my era, because, we weren't winning that many trophies before Klopp, you know what I mean? So I think we have to take a step back and realize how lucky we've been, you know what I mean? And that's at least the energy I'm going to have going into the last month because sulking in depression or sulking in what ifs serves no purpose and it actually just makes your life worse, you know what I mean? So that is definitely not how I'm going to be in the building, you know what I mean? And I hope you guys are going to bring out that energy too because Klopp deserves all of the freaking love, all of the flowers because, his legacy will forever live at this football club, just like the man that you see behind me here. And you can't see, actually, it's a little cub, but Klopp is there. You guys must have seen this picture before. And Bill Shankly is there. Actually, I want to pull it up because it's one of my favorite pictures. Hold on. Bill Shankly, Klopp. This one. Oh, I love it so much. I'm forever going to have that poster. No matter where I move, and I think I'm going to be moving a whole lot of times in the next few years because I'm a freaking nomad. But you best believe that this poster of Klopp and Bill Shankly will remain. Here it is. Pull it up for you guys. Oh, that's a little bit too big. Honestly, it deserves to be that big. It's better than my face that's on here. But yeah, this picture, guys. And, talking also about, the transition. The reason why I'm also increasingly less sad and just like in this celebration mode because, I think Klopp is a bigger than life character. I think we've talked about that many times. but I really think that his legacy will forever live on at this football club, like Bill Shankly's philosophy and the imprint that he's had on the club. We still talk about it today all the time, and that I think will be exactly the same with Jurgen Klopp. And we're just so lucky that we got to have one in our generation, because whoever comes after him, not to say that they have to be like Klopp, have Klopp's charisma. No, understand that how special the city of Liverpool is, how special the people of Liverpool are, and how special Anfield is, how special our history is. To understand that this football club is like no other, and to use the power of that. That's what Klopp has been able to do. He knew that when you turn us fans into believers, when you make us believe that we are the best football team in the world, and as Bobby Firmino said in his book, from 2018 to 2020, we were the best team in world football. And in the Champions League, nobody wanted to face us. We were probably the last team in two legs that any team wanted to face. And that's all thanks to Jurgen Klopp. You know what I mean? And even though we might have not had the most talent, the most resources, whatever you want to say, the mentality was something very, very special. And that's Jurgen Klopp. That's his imprint on the club. And I really freaking hope, and Arne Slot seems like a really smart man. He has to utilize that. He has to understand that the philosophy and the way Klopp went about managing Liverpool was the best way that you can manage such a special club, you know what I mean? And so there are a lot of learning lessons. He just needs to study what Klopp has done, and again, not try to be him, not try to have his charisma. Nobody's going to be like him. You know what I mean? Arne Slot needs to be himself, but he needs to understand, like I said, all those fundamentals that can make a Liverpool manager special and can create history at the football club. And that's what Jurgen has done. And that's why, again, I'm going to be in full celebration mode, guys, because we got 1 month left with this icon. Will says, got such a big future with Slot, Gravenberg looking top class, Mac, Endo, Soboslai, Trent, Bradley, Harvey, Dan, McConnell, Kumas, Cody, Kwanzaa, Kumetio, and Beck. Yeah, the future is bright. The future is bright. And not only is the future bright, but you know, I've been reading more and more about Arne Slot, and one of the reasons that they chose him is his ability to develop the youth. And what he's shown in his career so far is when he sold key players or whatever it may be, or players leaving, he's given a chance to the youth, and he's been able to get the best out of young players. And I think that was really important in the recruitment process, because, you know, Michael Edwards and everyone behind the scenes will recognize how special. Will mention some of the names, but how much talent we have at the football club right now, and we have to utilize that. You know, we'd be dumb to not try to get the best out of a lot of those talented players, and Arne Slot ticked that box, you know what I mean? And I think that was one of the fundamental things they were looking at, alongside many others. One of the other things I read, which I thought was really interesting, was his record of keeping players fit. I know that might seem like a bit of a random one, but it's something that we've struggled with a lot in the Klopp era, and I don't know what that came down to. It might be the intensity of the football. Whatever it came down to, there must be a ton of reasons, and I'm sure they did their best to try to keep players fit, obviously, but apparently he has a proven track record of having incredible player availability during the clubs that he managed, and that was one, you know, that apparently was a real data-led approach when Michael Edwards and everyone behind the scenes was making the decision on who would replace him. And Arne Slot, again, ticked that box. So trust me, they looked at a lot of things when making that decision, and these are stats that everyday fans like us didn't look at. You know what I mean? And that's why when a major decision like this has been made, what can we do as fans? We back the decision, because trust me, Michael Edwards is he's good at what he does, and there's a reason why every major club in world football wanted him. There's a reason, you guys. And again, I'm not saying that it's just him alone, because there's teams that do this together, but he's leading it, you know what I mean? So that's why he's the name that we mention the most. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, well, the more research I do on Slot, the more excited I get. You know, the more excited I get. And one of the other reasons, because this is a recent article that I read from the Times and this I think is probably the main reason because, I think all of us were kind of on the Ruben Amorim train. And I think we were quite disappointed initially probably when we heard the news, because I'll be honest, I was one of those fans that had looked so much into Ruben Amorim and I was so convinced that he was like the next elite manager in world football. But it looks like one of the reasons why they didn't end up going for Ruben Amorim is because the way that he sets up voice break. The way that he sets up and his philosophy, so playing three at the back, is so drastically different to the philosophy that Liverpool have right now, that again, they wanted as smooth of a transition. And when you look at Arne Slot, he's played in a 4-3-3 system, and even 4-2-3-1 resembles the 4-3-3 system. So one of the other reasons, yeah, like I said, is they wanted a smooth transition because there is so much talent in this team. The likes of Virgil, the likes of Salah, the likes of Alisson, who aren't that young. And therefore, you can't bring in a manager where you say, look, we're going to drastically change everything, but we're going to need 3-4 years for that transition because it takes a lot of time. Those players don't have that time. They're world class today. You know what I mean? And I think they also had to make a decision on, what manager can come in and have the fastest impact in that sense. And I think Ruben Amorim, it would have taken more time for that kind of transition. You know what I mean? So, no, Ismail, I won't be doing a Liverpool Tottenham stream because I'm actually going to the game, but I will try to do a stream at Anfield, a special in real life one, and potentially, and then content around the game and stuff. So there will still be loads of content coming, just not a live watch along for it. Yo, Reflex experts in the building. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Michael Edwards will restore our dignity. I mean, having the moment I saw the Michael Edwards news, that's when I could take the biggest deep breath. Seriously. Nice. Liverpool fan says I'm going to the bus parade for Klopp. Scouts Chris says I also lost some respect for Amorim after he did that interview with West Ham just to get us to make a quicker decision. Michael Edwards wasn't going to take that though. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. I'm doing well, Reflex Expert. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Oh, wow. 78% of you so far have said that you would tune in tomorrow. Damn. So there's a good chance there'll be a watch along tomorrow for a UCL Classic semifinal between Bayern and Real Madrid. Ian Football. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can Ian Football. Can I? Ian FTBL, are you able to put a link in the chat so that I can save that link and have a look after the stream? Because I want to be able to show you that support. Yo, Jeff Bloomberg's in the building. How are you? I know, I'm a pen merchant. We have to back him because we've seen that consistency over all the years. Yeah, get them grades, bro. Get them grades. Have a great day, and you too have a blessed night. You'll never walk alone. Big up Jones K345. Big up. Suleiman is in the building too. Yeah, well, it's impossible to say. It's impossible to say, but one thing that's for sure is he's going to have to really have an aura about him because, like I said, those players, when you think about Mohamed Salah, when you think about Virgil van Dijk, when you think about Alisson, these are players who could play for any team in the world, really. And you could put Trent in that box too. And so he's going to have to show that he's Liverpool manager quality, that he's not Jurgen Klopp level quality, but that he's a top coach. And because he has to earn the respect of those players. You know what I mean? Because they're here to win. They're used to winning, and they can't have too many seasons where we're not winning trophies. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think there will be some pressure in that sense in the dressing room to be able to keep everyone on board, and that's where he's gonna have to put his footprint on the club, with his mentality, his way of being, everything behind the scenes. Do you live in France? I live in Lille, yes, in the north of France. Gabriel says, whatever happens, we have to back Slot. Exactly. Alif, the UCL match is tomorrow. Tomorrow night is the Bayern Madrid game. And then Wednesday is Dortmund against PSG. Let's go, FIFA Clips. Happy 20th birthday to you. And Toko says, watching from South Africa, you'll never walk alone. Liverpool forever. No, Hala, I'm too young to have a son. Yo, Alwino, nice to see you. How are you feeling about the Salah news? How are you feeling? Oh gosh, like I told you guys, I freaking love this picture of Klopp and Bill Shankly. I love it so much. Toby says, what I'll say is we can only look forward. The state Klopp has left the club is in far better than when he arrived. We can only be optimistic about the future. We're in a good place. Long may it continue. Absolutely, Toby. And like I said, where we're at behind the scenes with Michael Edwards at the helm, that's what makes me really confident that the recruitment is going to be right. And as you've seen, when we saw Sir Alex leaving, when we saw Arsene Wenger leaving, a lot of the issues that you saw were related to recruitment. Recruitment is so crucial. It's the backbone of any success. And thankfully, it seems like our recruitment with, like I said, Michael Edwards at the helm is going to be okay. You know what I mean? Which is absolutely crucial to think about. Yeah, my bangs. I think honestly, the main two positions we need is a center back and a midfielder. And with Matip and Thiago leaving, it'll open up a lot of wages. So, yeah. Mike Dez, yes, I have seen the Eiffel Tower before. I used to live in Paris. Yo, Tomislav is in the building. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Oh, perfect. Yo, Will has sent it, so I'll be able to comment and show you support, okay? ENFTBL. I'm going to be able to show you the support after the stream, okay? Yo, FIFA Clips from Mexico was good. Kareem and see if we can know where Slot wants to play what players. I do think it'll be interesting to see, could Salah potentially play down the middle? I think it's not impossible. You know what I mean? You saw Ronaldo shift his position as he got older. And one thing you can count on Salah is his goal scoring. You know what I mean? So potentially we could see a change in position for Salah because we changed the formation, and him down the middle maybe isn't the worst thing. You know what I mean? Because boy, can he score goals. That is something you can't doubt. Go12 says, Leo, which player do you think has stepped up the most this season that's had an impact? I think honestly, I know he hasn't started the whole season, but I think Kelleher needs to be shown his flowers like a crazy amount because, Alisson was out for quite a bit of time. And, up till the beginning of April, it looked like we could win the Europa League. It looked like we could win the Premier League. And that was Kelleher being in goal for a long time. So I think kind of our unsung hero of the season has to be Kelleher because, like, ultimately us, you know, faltering in April was not down to him. So he did his job all of that time. And it's really hard to step in as a backup keeper and perform the way that he did, especially when you're behind Alisson Becker. Like, wow. So I think he would be that player I would have to give that award to at the end of the season. Yo, Jonathan, what's good? How are you doing? C Dart says if it's a 4-2-3-1 formation under Arne Slot, which all the players might make into the team. Yeah, and it'll be interesting. For example, I was mentioning him earlier. I'm excited to see Fabio Carvalho as well come back from loan and what kind of role he could play in there because I think he's best suited in a cam type position, which you would have in that kind of formation, you know? Bat says people have such short memories. It wasn't long ago everyone was raving about Mo. He's in poor form, simple as, far from finished. Well said, Bats. That's what I've been trying to preach all day because some of the comments you see on social media is completely absurd. Absurd. Yes, Monty, what's good? Dylan LFC Goats, I would love down the line for Kelleher to get a chance at Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool's their starting keeper because I love him. But we'll have to see if he ends up staying at the club because I do also think he deserves to be a first team keeper. That's how good he is. You know what I mean? Ali Nus says, Leo, explain to me, please, what's with all the hate towards Nunes from Liverpool fans? I think it's more frustration with his finishing, and the fact that there were a few games this season where the difference could have been him scoring. And I think it's, like I said earlier, I think it's tough on him because I don't think he fits Klopp's system down the middle. I think where we've seen him look like his most natural self has been on the left wing when he's had space to run in behind. But the problem is that left wing, we also have Luis Diaz. You know what I mean? So I don't think we can drop Luis Diaz, especially the form he's in. So Darwin finds himself in a tough position where when we play him in that, number 9 role down the middle. And like I said, I just don't think he's suited for that in the way that we play. So we can't see the best of him, which is a shame because you can see that there's a lot of raw talent there, and when he's confident, he can be a handful. Mhm. Yeah, Ronnie Prime, I will next season. Absolutely. Who do you think will win the league? I think it's going to be Man City. They don't look like dropping points. I think we'll get back to winning ways against Spurs at home. I really think so. I think the atmosphere will be top, top, top. Yo, TXE is in the building. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Rehan, it's really hard to tell. It all depends on who Slot wants to start, who he wants to play. It's really tough. I know. Go 12. I hope Kelleher stays at the club because like I said, I think he's good enough to be number one. But the thing is that his son still has years left in him. I think the contract he signed was still 2026, if I'm not wrong, and yeah, you see he's still playing at the highest level. So that would mean he'd still have to wait years, and he's getting older now. You know what I mean? So it all depends if he's okay for waiting, or if he's gonna end up moving when a team comes knocking. You know what I mean? That only time will tell for that. Yeah. Omar, it looks like he's staying. So how long do I think Slot will stay for? I have no freaking clue. Nobody does. Trust. Absolutely nobody. As a Madrid fan, I would love Trent Madrid. No, you cannot take him. He needs to stay his whole career at Liverpool Football Club. Sorry. You already have enough talent at Real Madrid. Especially if Mbappe joins in the summer. Especially. Yeah, LFC YSR, of course, we're going to sign players this summer. With the new manager, there's going to be players that he's going to be wanting to bring in. Trust. That there's no doubt about. No freaking doubt about. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for the stream today. It was going to be kind of a quick one to discuss the major Salah news. And from what I'm seeing, you guys really want to watch along tomorrow as well for the massive Bayern against Madrid game. So it looks like that's going to be on the cards too. But yeah, you guys, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And like I said, I'm gonna keep spreading that positivity, even if we had a really rough April. And I hope you guys do too, especially on a Monday, start of the week. We need good vibes in the building. And and yeah, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a beautiful night, guys. You'll never walk alone. Ciao.